uh, we're going to talk about something that we spoke about last Thursday to our private community. We have a private community, Cash Your Nets, and we have a private Zoom link. And we spoke about the very real threat of Chase Manhattan Bank, of Wells Fargo, Bank of America continuing to shut down Christian business accounts and personal accounts. And unbelievably, the next day, all our Chase Bank accounts were closed, all of them. We didn't get an email. We didn't get a text message. We didn't get a phone call, nothing. They just shut it down. And we are not the first. We've been talking about this since December of last year. We had several private Zoom calls for the Cash Your Nets community, for our members only. If you're interested in membership, click the link below. By the way, do me a favor, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, because we're going to give you timely updates. Now, back in January, what had happened was we were actually helping people create offshore accounts. We were telling them what had happened was a business friend of ours, he owns an exchange, a centralized exchange, and in a meeting that I had, in a conversation I had with him, he came and said, listen, I'm going to warn you, I know that the governments in Canada and the United States are going to prevent people from taking money from their accounts and moving it to the exchange. And the reason for that was because there was a massive deficit in the amount of money being deposited into these large commercial banks. People just weren't trusting banks. They were going into gold, they were going into silver, precious metals, and cryptocurrency. And what we were warning about was, hey, if you went into your bank right now and you asked them to give you $5,000 in cash, they cannot do it because they are not holding any cash in the bank. And we said, if you want a larger amount of $250,000, it's going to take at least 6 weeks. Lots of paperwork, lots of things to sign. They're going to make sure you're not making a mistake, and they're going to try to persuade you not to do it for your own safety. So we had gone into a lot of ways, different places you can go to get banking services outside the United States, pay nominal fees, just a fraction of what banks are charging now. And they charge obscene rates for nothing. So anyway, what had happened was we have this meeting Thursday, Friday, all our accounts get zapped. And let me share with you, this was sent to me to a lot of ways, different places you can go to get banking services outside the United States. Pay nominal fees, just a fraction of what banks are charging now. And they charge obscene rates for nothing. So anyway, what had happened was we have this meeting Thursday, Friday, all our accounts get zapped. I'm not sure what's going on, Mark. And let me share with you. I guess it's recording something that I had. This was sent to me to a lot of ways, different places you can go to get banking services outside the United States. Pay nominal fees.
Do you have a link up somewhere?
What banks are charging now. All right, I think we're back. That can't be a coincidence, right? It's unbelievable. Hilarious. All right, everybody. Sorry about that. I think we got under control now. My internet just went. All these different screens popped up with me speaking. It was very weird, very weird. So, anyway, we're back. Thank you, Lord. God is good. So, anyway, what had happened was we had the meeting talking about how they were canceling Christian accounts and conservative accounts, and we had gone over this right here. This document that was sent to us from one of our members. Chase shuts down Bank of Mercola and key employees. So I don't know if you're familiar with Mercola and his websites. He's an anti-COVID vax. Let's put it that way. He's and kind of anti-vax, but he's talking about natural health and knowing your rights and questioning things, which I'm very much for. And if you look at this, on July 13th, 2023, JP Morgan Chase Bank informed me that they are closing all my business accounts, along my personal accounts of my CEO, my CFO, and their respective spouses and children. All right, so they went beyond just shutting the business accounts. They shut their business accounts down, their business checking accounts down, but then they went after their personal accounts, their spouse's personal accounts, and their children's personal accounts. This is weaponized because this guy has an opinion that these large banks, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, these big, they don't agree with them, this woke nonsense. And it was shut down. Now, it wasn't, and so what happened was in January, with our JP Morgan accounts, we had some funny stuff going on. We had wires that they were canceling. They refused to do some wires for us. Then they, all under the guise of, we are protecting you, right? We're going to protect you. And it was nonsense. They didn't tell us they were canceling. We had to find out by ourselves, sometimes a day later, 2 days later. And I'm trying to find, open up some of the stuff that I had before on here. So here is the Mercola site, and here's his website. So they shut him down, but they didn't just shut him down. They've shut several Christian organizations down. We're going to cover that. It's not just us. Now, let me just say, what did we do? Well, it was actually in our favor that they closed the account. Had they frozen the account, all our assets would have been frozen. We wouldn't have access to our assets, but they closed the account and we were able to get a bank check, and we immediately deposited into another account that we had. Right. And that's kind of what we were saying, and we're still saying now, is you've got to have your eggs in different baskets. And we're going to go over some of the propaganda that these banks are putting out there with the major media news outlets like CNBC, CNN, and MSNBC. And they're saying that you could trust the banks if they're FDIC certified, if they're secured, if they're backed, $250,000 per account. And it's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. There is no security. There's nothing there. And the whole thing's collapsing. So when they're saying, don't worry, that is the time you need to worry. So because everything went out, I got to go back and find what some of the information that I had here. 1 second. Let's see. Open this one. Okay, so let me share my screen now. So back in January, we had said we were getting a hassle. And then right after that, Bank of America froze Lance Wallnau's account. And Lance, let me see if I could find it here. He had put a Twitter up in here. Basically, the same thing happened because of his overtly Christian views. He said, let me get in here on Reddit. I had all this open before the crash. So you won't believe what just happened to me. My own bank account got frozen. It's on Twitter by Bank of America for no reason other than being conservative podcaster. They were investigating. Look at this. They were investigating who? Banks. They were investigating conservative bloggers and Christian ministries for quote unquote money laundering while ignoring the real threats in America. It's outrageous and illegal, but I had to do it to expose corruption in our banking system. Meanwhile, millions of people are crossing our borders at the southern border, right? Money laundering happening at the highest level of government, money laundering through the Ukraine war. All this stuff is just put out in the open. And it's just out in the open. No one gives a rip and no one's doing anything about it. And that's why we're here to say that this is real. We're not just making things up. We're not just making things up. And I want to share some of this stuff here that we've got. One moment. So we spoke back in January about things called Operation Choke Point 2.0. Now, Choke Point 1.0 came from the Obama administration. So I'm bringing up some articles right now. One moment. And what this is what, when we got a heads up, this is in March, the article, we got a heads up from our friend who's an owner of an exchange, Bitcoin mining. He does very well. And he told us this was going to happen. In March, this comes out. And so the Biden administration and federal regulators appear to be using whatever means necessary to cut cryptocurrency industry from banking services. And this was very, very, there's a lot of people that tried to get their money from their bank into an exchange and they couldn't do it. Hence that, Cash Janetz was saying, well, let's just get some Bitcoin machines. People would take out cash and buy Bitcoin that way. But they were preventing you from taking your money and putting it into any type of crypto. And we just had recent news that came out that the SEC asked Coinbase to delist every cryptocurrency except for Bitcoin. I mean, it is an intentional way of trying to just prevent any American money going into the cryptocurrency. And the reason they're doing that, people are putting their money into cryptocurrencies because they've realized the banking system is a giant scam. And what makes it even worse is you have intentional propaganda pieces. What do you need to know about your recent bank failures? Is your money safe? And this is a fluff piece. This is a fluff piece saying how, basically what they're saying is the banks that failed were cryptocurrency friendly. And they're saying, well, that's why they failed. But the truth is, friends, they failed because of the gigantic interest rate hikes that they took on. The government forced and raised the rates super fast, and it flushed out mid-sized, smaller banks. And it was intentional to get rid of the banks that were crypto-friendly. So all three banks that fell earlier this year were crypto-friendly. And now you have these fluff pieces coming from ABC, Wall Street Journal. Watch, is my money safe? Yes. If your money is in a U.S. bank insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corp, and you have less than $250,000 there, if the bank fails, you'll get your money back. Friends, have you ever been in a bank that's failed? I know several people that were in a bank that failed. They didn't get their money back. They got a fraction of it back, a fraction, and it took a very long time. So here they going into the large banks. They talk about the banks that failed. They were crypto friendly. And this actually happened to my brother. He has had a Bank of America account, and woke up one morning, $18,000, poof, vaporized. He still hasn't gotten it back. And so this happened and was really hushed. Some Bank of America customers said money is missing from their accounts. And Bank of America spokesman told San Francisco the problem has been resolved and deposits and transfers starting to appear in customers' accounts. It hasn't for my brother. Now, here's another one. When you hear the Wall Street Journal coming out and saying some bank branches run low on cash as customers make big withdrawals, this is them kind of setting you up for the big fall. Because I'll tell you right now, if you went to your local branch right now and asked them for 5,000 cash, they cannot produce it. It's not going to happen. And if they did have it, they're going to do everything possible to make sure you don't take it out. They'll question you. They'll ask you if someone's threatening you. You don't believe me? Please be my guest and try it. So we're going to talk about solutions also. I know that this sounds really, really bleak. Let me just shut this out. Should I pull my money out of the bank? What to know about bank failures? And here again, it's like they were given the exact words to write. You can see the same thing repeating over and over. If you have a bank in America, if it's FDIC, here it is, FDIC insured. And so they're basically telling people not to panic, but it's too late. It's too late. A lot of people are they're taking money out of the banks. So let's go into this. Religious nonprofit group led by former U.S. Ambassador Sam Brownback says Chase closed his bank account. Another one. And it is happening all over the place. And they are targeting Christians and Christian conservatives, and they're going under the guise of checking it out for money laundering, which quite honestly is comedy. Now, I don't remember if I said before we had that tech failure earlier, but for CashierNets, all we did, all the funds that we had inside of Chase, we just put into another bank account that we already had. And it just made us more vigilant to create our own platform. And we are seriously looking at all options, met with developers today, meet with developers tomorrow, all next week. And it's all about creating a place where people can create accounts and they can transfer money freely and they can exchange crypto freely. Now, by the way, if you haven't liked, hit the like button. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Greatly appreciate supporting this channel. We got a new interview with Ron that just came up. And if you haven't gotten it, this has somehow become our bestseller, is the new Bitcoin book that we have, Bitcoin Revolution. The links are below. Also get Philip's book below. Though both these books, we decided to give them away for free to our community. And now we're just opening it up to the public. And the reviews are phenomenal. So get it for free while you can. Now, let me go into some other things here. I say I'm not a financial investor or advisor. I'm an investor. I'm a pretty good investor, actually. I give credit all to God. But I believe Bitcoin is the way to go. And there's a video in our YouTube channel with Michael Saylor, and he outlines the great wealth transfer and what's happening. And now when you have all these ETFs that we think are going to come into fruition, I think maybe early next year, maybe this year, but certainly within 18 months, they have until the following March 2024, to say yes on the ETFs, you're going to have trillions and trillions, hundreds of trillions of dollars come into Bitcoin. And the Bitcoin market cap right now is only 500 billion. It's half a trillion. So it's a little volatile, but if you buy and hold, in my opinion, as an entertainer, that is the safest thing, the safest place to go. What else? So be on the lookout. We're going to have some videos popping into our YouTube channel where we're going to talk about how to create offshore banks, how to create offshore LLCs, and how to protect your money. The other thing that's coming out is the central bank digital currency, CBDC, and that is just going to monitor everything you do. So there's a window for us to get our cash out of the banks into exchanges or decentralized exchanges and Christian-friendly banks. And that's what we're going to talk about on the next video, is Christian-friendly credit unions that we're working with. They're the credit unions that we ourselves are working with. We're going to talk about some online options that are very crypto-friendly. We're also going to talk about banking as a service, BaaS. Basically, the big example is Apple. Apple is a tech company. They sell iPhones and computers and things like that, but they also have a banking service. And the way they did that was they used the service of an existing bank and just put Apple over it. And what's happened is you've had tens of billions of dollars come into Apple because they're offering a very high interest rate. So we're going to take a look at that, what that means, and how you can use that for your family, how you can use that for your business. But the important thing to know that is this is real. Operation Choke Point 2.0 is real. They are focusing on Christians and conservatives. Big banks are as well. It's not just the bigger ministries like Lance Wallnau and senators. It's also ministries like Castronets. So be aware of that. And over the next coming weeks, we're going to upload some videos that we had showcasing how to go to a bank outside of the United States, how to have it safe, secure, how to access it. We're going to talk about decentralization, where it means that no one can actually see what's inside that you have unless you give them a secret key code, and why that's going to be very, very important. And no, we're going to dispel this myth. Many people think Bitcoin is part of the Antichrist, and it is not. It is actually the anti-Antichrist. It is anti all that. It's anti-control. It is really for freedom. And that's why we are heavily favoring Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. It's actually the only safe place. So I'd love to hear your comments, love to hear your thoughts. If you know someone who experienced that we have, please drop in the comments right now. It would help our algorithm. We're trying to grow the channel. We're going to provide a lot of educational courses. We're going to start doing these meetings more often, hopefully on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, maybe Sunday through Friday, something like that. But drop in your comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you know of Christian banks, or if you know of Christian credit unions. If you have some, if you've worked with online banks, drop it in the comments below. We want people to start getting educated on all this. God bless you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.